Is breakfast the most important meal of the day? By commenting below, how many of you ate breakfast this morning? I didn't. What is breakfast? Well, it's the meal that breaks the fast. Breakfast may be something many of you look forward to each morning. It may consist of cereal, pancakes, waffles, French toast, or eggs and bacon. Or it may be a cup of coffee. Or nothing at all. In different countries, like Japan or Jamaica, fish is a common breakfast item, meaning there is no universal specific breakfast. Our ideas and understanding of breakfast is shaped by our individual family, culture, environment, and tradition. When you start looking into what breakfast is and the true importance, things become complicated, which I was surprised to find out after reading numerous texts and studies on the subject, along with a conversation with Dr. Eckhart von Hirschhausen. Human activity has become more sedimentary, and our breakfast needs have changed over time. Back in the agrarian society, people ate large breakfasts to have enough energy to be able to plow the fields, which is a stark contrast from our modern breakfast needs. I was told that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and skipping it is bad for you, and will make you gain weight. In this speech, I will argue that general belief in the importance of breakfast has been promoted by breakfast food advertisements and basic biased studies, and instead could be used as a weight loss strategy for the right person. In 1917, Leanne F. Cooper said to Good Health magazine, "In many ways, the breakfast is the most important meal of the day, because it is the meal that gets the day started," which started the theory that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. The problematic nature of this statement, edited by John Harvey Kellogg, the co-inventor of cornflakes, and Leanne F. Kellogg's protege. She was a nurse and leader in developing the science of diets. The quote in the Good Health magazine worked as a piece of highly effective advertisement. Do you find it problematic that the leader in building part of the foundation of the dietetics was so closely tied to a company that profited from promoting breakfast foods? Another way in which breakfast companies promoted their products was by conducting biased studies. For example, a survey organized by Gourmet on behalf of the Beech Nut Company. They were a prepackaged bacon company in the 1920s. Gourmet sent 5,000 surveys to doctors asking them, "Do you believe a healthier breakfast is better for good health than a light one?" 4,500 of the doctors agreed with the statement. He then published 5,000 doctors say you should eat bacon for breakfast, next to a Beech Nuts sliced bacon ad, which helped bring bacon back as a common breakfast item. So, how are breakfast ads and studies relevant to our idea of breakfast 100 years later? Well, 100 years ago was about the time when the idea that breakfast kickstarting your day started. Additionally, a series of scientific and sometimes biased studies were conducted in this time. The initial idea had been passed on to us for over 100 years, which caused people to question it less. However, there are potential biases in these studies, funded by food companies with an interest in customers buying their products. And that information has been part of the foundation of our understanding of healthy breakfasts. We can see an increase in demand, for example, cereals like Kellogg's and protein-rich breakfasts like bacon, after sponsored scientific studies were published. Numerous studies were built upon the idea that breakfast being the most important meal of the day, coupled with researchers asking biased questions and folk wisdom, led to an oversimplification of a complex question. When and what should I eat to be healthy? So, what is it like to skip breakfast? Do you feel a lack of energy? Do you gain weight? Well, in my case, I started skipping breakfast when I started uni about 3 years ago, and had early classes and didn't have time / I was not hungry that early in the morning. By skipping breakfast, I started eating when I was hungry, and not based on a time or schedule. As a result, I lost about 50 pounds without going to the gym. I realized I was eating at certain times because they were an appropriate time to eat, and not when I was truly hungry. By not thinking about food until I was hungry, I ate less snacks and only when I really wanted to eat. It was not always fun to wait to eat, but it worked for me. I stumbled into this strategy, but there are studies on skipping breakfast and doctors like Eckhart von Hirschhausen who recommend to some patients to skip breakfast if they want. There are fascinating studies done by Alexandria Johnson at the University of Albany, where they studied 52 obese women and asked them to participate in a 12-week weight loss program. Each participant ate the same number of calories each day, but half had breakfast and the other half did not. They found that the breakfast skippers lost 19.6 pounds and the breakfast eaters lost 13.7 pounds. The study suggests that the disruption in the routine is a potentially influential component to weight loss. This worked for me and made sense to me too. Weight gain can result from a series of bad habits, and changing your eating routine may help break those habits and form new ones. Dr. Eckhart von Hirschhausen is a German doctor who wrote 4 books on nutrition and medicine, some being on the German equivalent to the New York Times bestseller list, The Spiegel, and a popular health and lifestyle magazine. We had a chance to talk about the benefits of skipping breakfast, but most importantly, eating when you're hungry. Hirschhausen continues to say that each person is different. Some eat a heavy breakfast in the morning and have an upset stomach, and others eat a heavy breakfast in the morning and have energy throughout the day. The main message to me was listen to your body, notice when you want to eat, and notice why. Are you hungry or are you bored? And stop eating when you are full. So, is breakfast the most important meal of the day? For me, it's not. For others, it might be. It's a question with a lot of nuance and debate, more than one might think. There was, for an example, a study done in the U.S. that followed 50,000 people over 7 years and found that people who ate breakfast as the largest meal of the day were more likely to have a lower BMI, body mass index. This could mean that breakfast leads to a lower BMI, or that people who eat breakfast are just more likely to have a lower BMI, along with other external or additional factors. Numerous other studies have been conducted that support eating breakfast, especially in growing children. However, breakfast being the most important meal of the day has been a base understanding in a lot of these studies, which puts them all into question when you question the importance of breakfast. Additionally, there are companies and businesses that profit from promoting biased, meaningless information, encouraging you to purchase their products. In essence, if you are hungry in the morning, then eat breakfast. But if you're not, then you don't need to feel pressured to eat.